Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tavern. I'm the Dapper Bard. This time we're looking at the constellation of Gemini. This is an interesting one of the longer stories that I get to tell in terms of the astrology type stories. But as always, we begin with some of the basic astrology facts in case you care. Gemini is a wind sign, which generally makes it a more active, energetic, and non-stop sign that Earth types can oftentimes find exhausting. One of the problems with the Gemini is it has this public perception of being, oh, you're of two minds. And that is not at all what the Gemini is about. It's one of those weird, this is what people decided this what the sign means. But technically, the sign is a very interesting one. It has a positive representation of things like being a good listener, being persuasive, being inquisitive, talkative, and really hating being bored. These are the kind of energetic people who just are on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. And that makes them really cool to be around because that means it's someone who's always going to have something going on. There'll always be a form of entertainment, food, whatever, on to the next. On the negative side, these people can be seen as very exhausting, gossipy. They can come off as rude and indecisive as well. And normally I don't make a comment about some of the friends and stuff I've had over the years of different signs, but I've had a couple of people in my life who are Geminis. And while they don't hold every single aspect of the sign, they have enough for me to go, yep, that sounds just like such and such, and da-da-da. I won't say their names here, just, in order to not embarrass them. But some of those traits really very much represented some people in my life, and I just find it hilarious. But of course, you're not here for the astrology, you're here for the mythology. And of course, the sign of Gemini, which literally means twins, is based off the story of Castor and Pollux, which is weirdly complicated and not for the reasons you might think. There are so many retellings and different versions of their story that I had to kind of just comb through and come up with the two most prevalent and then kind of roll with that. So first we'll do the Homeric version. In the Iliad, they are just the natural sons of King Tyndareus of Sparta. Their sister is kidnapped due to their neglect, and they end up joining the battle in Troy. In the original Iliad, Helen looks out for her brothers in the battlefield and says she cannot see them, implying that they may have died. However, in the Odyssey, Odysseus is essentially told they have survived the battle and are going on with their lives. They aren't divine in any real sort of way. They're just a really awesome archer and a really awesome cavalryman, and are kind of minor characters in the grand scheme of things. In the mythological tradition, it's a bit different. Their mother, Queen Leda, who's said to be incredibly beautiful, Zeus decided, I need to seduce that woman. And not seduce her in the normal, hey, look at me, I'm Zeus, I'm super like ripped and I'm a god and stuff. But in the, I'm going to transform into a beautiful swan and seduce her as an animal. Yes, this is the second animal seduction we've talked about while discussing the constellations. Why do you ask? Unlike with Queen Europa, Zeus is said to not have returned to his human form. And in some legends, Leda gives birth to eggs that hatch into her children. Yeah. Greek mythology. In other versions, Zeus gave her one child, which would be, of course, Pollux, and King Tyndareus gave her human son, Castor. And beyond that, some tellings say that Helen is actually one of Zeus's children as well. Other tellings say she was born to someone else. It's a mess. When I get to Helen, that'll be a ugh. But as far as most legends are concerned, the only divine child amongst everyone is Castor's twin brother Pollux. Oftentimes they're called the Dioscuri, But for the most part, we're just going to call them Castor and Pollux. In most legends, they helped with the hunt of the Caledonian boar, and they joined the Argonauts and had some weird side adventures, like Pollux boxing a barbarian king, and Castor and Pollux assisting with the siege and destruction of Iolcus to get revenge on a king who wronged them. Strange adventures. Post the Argonaut adventure, Castor and Pollux are said to have essentially stolen their cousins' wives. Their cousins, who were also twins, were betrothed, and they saw their betrothed and said, "Whoa, those ladies are hot. We're taking them for ourselves." And they basically swept the ladies away to their home and married them. They had one child apiece. Strangely, not twins. You expect them to have twins, just can get a whole twins and twins. If you have twins cousins and you're twins, I don't know, you thought there'd be more twins. There's not. Anyhow, this pisses off their cousins something fierce. And in the process, they start kind of causing trouble for each other's fiefdoms, whether they're stealing livestock or destroying fields and just going back and forth, this ultimate pissing contest between cousins. Because family can never work things out, especially in mythology. Eventually, they go and plan to steal all their cousins' cattle, and in the process, leave the castle undefended, which leads to Paris kidnapping Helen and kind of leading to the whole Trojan War. So good work, guys. But don't worry, it gets dumber than that. While trying to steal the cattle, they get ambushed by their cousins who knew they were going to attack. And Castor is mortally wounded, and Pollux is at the mercy of his cousin. Zeus sends down a lightning bolt and zaps the cousin dead, saving Pollux's life. Pollux takes his weapon, avenges his brother, but unfortunately, Castor dies in his arms. And Pollux turns to Zeus and says, "Oh, Father, save my brother, bring him back to me." And Zeus says, "I can't do that, but I can provide you a shared divinity. And you can be up in the stars together for half the year. The other half of the year, he has to be in the realm of Hades because that's how it works when you're dead." And the brothers agree to this, or I guess Pollux agrees to it. I don't know if Castor has a choice, he's basically dead. And so in the sky, the constellation will sometimes look like it has both brothers, but sometimes look like it only has one brother. And this, because of their time on the Argo, ended up becoming part of sailing tradition. That if you see both brothers in the sky, they will watch over your voyage, everything's cool. If you do not, if you only see one brother, you will not have protection and sail at your own risk. Now, interestingly enough, it's because of the position of the planet and the whole thing like that as to why we can only see some of the stars certain times. But because of that, that went for older sailors not understanding weather patterns, that yes, during certain times of the year, weather is worse for sailing than other times. So there you go. Overall, like I said, it's a complicated legend, and most of the stuff they did wasn't all that like exciting or interesting. And the Caledonian boar thing really isn't even their main story per se. They just happened to be there and assisted a little bit of the hunt using cavalry skills and archery skills, but neither of them slayed the boar. Their time with the Argo is more or less just let's get in fights with people. And, you know, even in the Homeric tradition, if you go have them go into the Trojan War, they die and then get retconned to be alive. Yeah, like I said, super complicated. And plus, the sheer amount of variance of this telling of Leda and the Swan is ridiculous as to how many children Zeus gave her, if they hatched out of eggs or not. It's just, I can't even sometimes with Greek mythology. So I hope this very exhausting, which I guess suits Gemini, retelling of Castor and Pollux and the mythology of the star sign of Gemini has enlightened you to the bizarre nature of this wonderful, wonderful member of the Zodiac. If there is some form of mythology you'd like me to cover in the future, please let me know. I am taking a list, and once I catch up with the astrological signs I need to catch up on, I'm going to be adding a lot more mythology tales into the mix, including a lot more stories outside of the European sphere, because there's some amazing stories and I really, really want to tell them. Other than that, please like and subscribe. If you have a friend who's a Gemini, share this video with them. Let them get a good laugh out of it, or learn something about themselves, whatever. And until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the tavern.